welcome back to the Decode podcast booth at IPC Apex 2025. We are here with Don Jeka from Essemtec. I guess I know a ton about your products and love them and talk about them with these guys at times, but I'll give you the opportunity to first talk about what you guys are doing here at the show.
Sure. Thanks very much, Dave. Relative to what Essemtec is doing at the show here is we came in, we've been on a real roll as a company, and we came in with a couple of new products. So basically we have taken our pick and place and our multifunction and dispensing equipment, and we've moved it into the next generation of speed and performance. So really exciting to bring out a new piece of equipment and have it here on this show floor.
I feel like you're underselling that right there. So for the average viewers who don't know anything about Essemtec, like he told me about them like a month ago, and I didn't believe them what he was telling me. So it's like one of your lines, right, is actually a jet printer that also has a pick and place built into the same footprint. And from what I've heard from my local reps is that it actually does 36,000 components an hour as well, right? Obviously top speed, right? But
that's fact.
But I mean, the ability to put printing and pick and place into one. I mean, this is kind of like all you need next is your reflow, right? And
that is all you need.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah. So like
it's like a prototyping dream for one. I mean, you can set up. I don't know if it's changed. When we were looking, I think there's like 240 feeders or something. If it's not in line,
depending on the configuration.
Yeah, if you put it in line, you're going to lose some feeders, right?
You can be north of 200 feeders for sure.
I mean, so you can. I just want to do a video of it. You know, I want people to see a video of the product because, like, as a process engineer, like the technology just blows me away. And anytime a CM can avoid buying a stencil from Metal X, you know, it's a great idea.
So one of the things is we are the only people in the world that are doing that, right? So we're the only people in the world that can do the multifunction. And we are doing solder paste jetting at the very highest standard in the industry, which I'm specifically saying smallest dot sizes. So finest granularity, finest pitch, all can be jetted, board assembled, and then off to a reflow oven. One box does that all. And it's one of the unique things about Essemtec. And all of this has been a result of working with customers. So we are customer driven. We work with the customer and we develop our new techniques based on their input.
And I think Bryce worked at a CM prior, right? Is that?
Bryce actually worked for another pick and place company.
Okay.
Prior to that.
But he was like kind of like a user as well with it too, right? Like
so
he knew.
Has really strong service background. That's how he got into the industry.
Yeah.
And so he has a unique and deep understanding of equipment, having had his hands inside it.
Because only like a person who had experience with pick and place separate from printing, right, would be like, hey, why can't we put all this together in one, you know? Is there any way to put a stencil in the machine at all, or is it all jet?
No, it's a completely different technology. So with a stencil printer, of course, you're just swiping solder paste across a substrate board, whatever. In this case, we are going to basically fly over the board with a jet nozzle that is dropping as if you would from an airplane, little solder balls.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. And you can like reball BGAs with it.
No, that's a customer-driven project that we had, and basically what we're doing is we are jetting flux onto a BGA and then picking up balls and placing them. So we're repopulating BGAs. For rework, it's an outstanding tool.
Amazing.
And that's just another thing that the machine can do.
Amazing.
The rework function's incredible because, I mean, you can take a populated board and put it back in there and dispense just on the area you need to rework and place just that one component that you reworked, and now you're back in business.
There are companies around the globe that are doing that full time with our equipment, just rework.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about like I heard this a lot yesterday. I was at a dinner with like 32 other CMs, and they were saying like, well, what do you use for rework, right? Imagine if I could say, well, I have the Essemtec machine, right? And like all I got to do is basically take the chip off without damaging it, right? And then I can use your machine to redispense and then replace. Like that is the ultimate rework station in that sense too as well.
Yeah, and one of the unique things is because we do laser height mapping of every board that comes in, by doing that, we've established where those components are that are already on the populated
Wow.
board. So keep out areas.
It takes that into account as well?
So you don't have to program the keep out areas?
You do not have to program them. That's
Wow.
correct.
Here's the crazy part is like this isn't sponsored or paid for or nothing like that, right? We're just blown away as users of, the SMT equipment all the time that like this is even a thing, I feel like we're doing like this crazy sales pitch.
Yeah, we're doing a commercial for you, but we're really just trying to learn about the technology.
Our whole podcast is about problems and solutions, right? And that thing solves so many problems and so many solutions, but it does create a problem for the stencil manufacturers.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's in that instance there won't be a stencil used right now. I've been around long enough to remember when jet printing kind of started to enter into our industry, and it was intimidating at first. But then we quickly realized that most folks utilizing jet printers within their process are using them to augment their screen printing process, not replace, right? Because
Absolutely.
you can't match that speed of a board every 11 seconds, every 7 seconds.
Right.
So they have undeniable value in rapid prototyping, right?
Absolutely.
So, and furthermore, I've seen folks using dispensing or jetting technology downstream of the screen printer. So you can screen print, and then you can selectively add solder paste for problem areas. And I think that it's an augmentation or a complement to screen printing process rather than, hey, I'm not gonna be able to sell any more stencils anymore. That's not the case.
And if you think about it too in that aspect, I guess I could prove out a theory of will a step stencil help if I get this, right, with that machine, because I have my initial deposit and then I just raise it how many mils I want, right?
Sure. And so in those cases, we call it supplemental paste. So you can choose just to do your really fine pitch. So that's eliminated on the stencil, so you don't worry about the stuff that you might step down to. And then the other alternative is we put paste on paste. So you just use a 4 mil stencil or whatever. You put it down. Okay, we know we need more paste in these certain areas. We measure it with the laser, and we apply the paste on top of the paste.
It's almost like a liquid preform, right? You could just go in there, like I've got this connector, want some more paste, and yeah. So it's a complementary process in a lot of ways, also. I have to tell you, Sean makes really great video content. I don't know if you've seen it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and put one of these systems in his facility in Fraser, Michigan, I mean, the return on investment would be huge. Staggering.
I will actually...
And then you'd have to put one in Aurora, Nebraska as well, because Daniel will have to teach him how to use it. So
the local rep in Michigan is actually going to try to get the new 36 CPH one over at their facility for their demo lab. And we already have like plans. I'm going to try to go out there and see it and talk to them and go from
we
there.
do have a machine in Michigan right now at a demo facility.
Yeah, and then they got it, but they got to get the process engineer over there to run the machine, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
they're a sales rep group, right? And a very good one, by the way. But sales guys are not your typical machine operators,
right?
And I speak from experience on that.
Too funny. Now, is there any gluing?
Yeah. Oh, sure. So any of our systems that do dispensing can have up to 5 different valves, right? So we have a time pressure valve, very traditional, volume dispensing valve, pretty traditional, a micro screw valve, really awesome valve, very versatile. And then we have a dedicated jet valve for adhesives and flux and a dedicated jet valve for solder paste. So we have many operations, high-speed operations, which are, real throughput type things that we're just doing glue. So we're just doing staking compounds and adhesives.
Because I just had a job recently, and I asked him about it, and you talked about the stencil relief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forget how you described that, but I basically needed to paste it and then put glue on a part in the middle, and he said like there was a stencil that, because how is it going to squeegee across without going through that?
Yeah, so it's a dual print process. So essentially you would go through and print your paste, and then the second stencil, if you needed to print epoxy, would have to have reliefs on the substrate contact side that were in excess of the paste height. So as it got placed over, it would have these cavities for the paste to nest into. But if you had dispensing technology, you can run your stencil print and then go on and dispense your dots selectively without having to buy 2 stencils and do 2 separate processes.
Yeah, there's utility flexibility, all the things that you would think of. I'm going to sound funny here, but a Swiss Army knife. Machines truly are Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
And
You start with the blade, and next thing you know, you're using the tweezers.
Yeah.
and I think flexibility is so paramount for CMs, right?
I think the majority of people I talk to that are in a CM also, they all, it seems like, are high mix, low volume, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
you got to be
the majority
agile.
in America.
That's
is
what
gonna
the
be high
world
mix,
is.
low
Yeah.
volume, right?
There's
So-
too many of us. That's why nobody can get the high volume part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it's all split up.
Everybody's-
Well, Don, this was great. Honestly, we thank you for your time and for telling us a little bit about what Essemtec has to offer. Hope Apex ends up being a great show for you guys.
The first day was fantastic for us, and I can tell you that we greatly appreciate the exposure and being able to speak with you about our products. And, just a real big thank you and good luck with the podcast because it's really impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.